Welcome to the MMHP in the 989, channeling all styles and eras of Michigan music history. Recorded live inside the Rock Legends Hall of Fame in Bay City, Michigan. Featuring Dr. J, Sir Fred, Mr. Mike, and your host, Scott Baker.
We're back here with part 2 of 2, here with Bobby Balderrama, Robert Lee Balderrama. We know Bobby and Robert both as the one man who's put out a #1 on Billboard charts, both as a pop guy as Bobby and a smooth jazz guy as Robert, and we are going to celebrate with him some more here in part 2. He's going to continue to dive deep into the new documentary as well as more great Question Mark The Mysterians history. We're also going to learn a little bit about where he's heading with the smooth jazz and the road ahead for 2026 as he continues to go after the #1 and have a historical retrospective being released. Bobby also brought his guitar, and he's going to play a little bit here on this episode. And we want to thank all you listeners for tuning into part 1. It's been a tremendous first episode back here with Bobby. And without further ado, part 2.
I'm really excited about this third album because I think that, the band has been taken advantage of, and I feel what you and Daniel are doing, the documentary, everything, we're going to leave a legacy, and that was my whole ambition. When I was young, I wanted to make a lot of money and be rich, but now I'm old, it doesn't make any difference anymore. All I want to do is leave a legacy for the band. And keep doing my smooth jazz, because that's my love and my passion. And I feel that I'll be able to help the homeless. That's another of my things that I want to do. I'm right now. I did a movie. We made a movie about Question Mark Mysterians. It was called Crazy World, and it's about Question Mark. He tells people he's from Mars, right? And so, people ask me, well, where did he get that from? We were down with Dallas, Texas. Mm-hmm. We were down in Dallas, Texas, and opened up for Joaquin Carrasco. And we were staying at Frankie's house. And Question Mark, he's talking to me. He goes, man, I got to do a radio interview at this oldie station here in Dallas. I know they're going to ask me where we're from. And I told him, I said, well, just tell them the band's from Michigan and then you're from Mars. And he goes, Mars? And I go, yeah, because that's where the name came from, the Mysterians. That there was Martians that invaded Earth to steal the women or something. I never knew what the plot was, but that's what I read about. And so he goes, all right. So we're all listening to the radio, and Question Mark is at the station, and the guy asked him, the DJ, he goes, so you guys are all Mexican, right? And Question Mark said, well, I don't tell anybody anything about me. He goes, but the band is, yeah. He goes, where are you guys from? Here in Texas? And he goes, no, the band is from Michigan. And he goes, where are you from? And he goes, I'm from Mars. I couldn't stop laughing. I said, he really did it.
And he's still doing it.
And then he goes, is that in Michigan?
Mars, Michigan.
And
there's a hell, Michigan. So what are you going to do?
He goes, no, it's a planet. And I heard that guy's voice kind of change.
It's a good thing you didn't tell him to say he was from Uranus. So that would have been even better all these years.
And so the guy said, oh, okay.
And he's still doing it.
And so in the movie, I wrote a movie, and it's a cheap, we did a camcorder. It's terrible, but I had the thought, if we shot this movie, maybe we could find some producer that would take it on and make it a really nice movie, right? But it never happened. But it's about Question Mark. He goes to Mars. Well, he does interviews at a radio station, like he did there. And it's so funny. You've seen it, right?
Well, I admit it.
Yeah, you were in the beginning, but you saw the part with the DJ.
Yes, okay, myself and Chad Cunningham.
That is a hilarious, and it's humorous. The movie is terrible. It's worse than Rocky Horror, But I felt that it had substance to it, and it had a script. It had a beginning, it had an end, it had a plot. And so Question Mark talking about being from Mars, right? And it's so funny. But in the movie, how it starts, Gary's in it, and Chad. And I'm doing an AI now because now I can do AI.
Okay.
And I love AI and video. Music, it sucks.
Yeah, well, we shot that scene was at the Bay City Motor Company.
I know
when
it.
the original Michigan Rock and Roll Legends display
But see,
was
you know
put
what
up.
I'm doing now? I'm using the wall here. You got,
Yeah.
and I'm changing it all around. It's not gonna look like it did. Your audio's the sound is so loud, and noisy. You know, I'm gonna have to clean that up. But I feel that it's got potential. You know, and now that this third album might be coming out, you know, people might be interested.
Well, right. It's certainly going to generate a lot of interest in Question Mark and the Mysterians with both a documentary and hopefully a box set. You know, we're hoping all this stuff happens. You know,
I mean, I have no plans for it to be in the box set but I say I could take advantage of the excitement that can cause with the box set and the third album, where people would be interested in looking at it. You know,
I would
or
think,
even maybe Netflix might.
Right,
be.
even if just the third album came out.
Right.
I mean, that would be a big deal. You know, the lost Question Mark and Mysterians album.
And you know, and it's funny. It's not serious. You know. When the DJ is talking to Question Mark about being from Mars, I mean, it goes on and on, and you watch that part. I mean, I was laughing. I couldn't stop laughing while I was recording. You know, you can hear my voice laughing in the background. And his name was Crazy Larry, I think it was his name.
Okay.
And that guy was crazy.
That's awesome.
But you know, it's gonna take me a while to do it because I want it to look good. So I found this look dark. You ever see? There was a movie. It was a series called Archie. You know, it was like a new series that came out recently. But Archie.
Oh, you mean Riverdale?
Yeah, Riverdale.
Okay, yeah.
Now, you ever notice how it kind of looked dark?
Right.
That's the way I want to make this.
Okay.
It's going to be dark. You know, it's going to look very awesome. I seen all these backgrounds I'm going to use. You know, I could go on, but you know, I'm just looking forward to do it.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah, well, thank you.
But you also did do an AI new video, and you were going to talk about your new single today.
Yeah, I got a new single coming out. It's called Sunset Beach, and I've been studying AI for about a couple months, 3 months, and I've been looking at tutorials and how you work it, how you create it. You know, and I finally caught on to it. It's not easy. People think AI is easy. Video, it's not. You can spend a lot of money making mistakes because you're using prompts, and you got to know what to say. If you say the wrong thing and it creates it, you got to pay for it. And it's not what you want, you know. So it's a learning process. But I feel I've taken the next step up. Is now I can take that movie and I can actually have you talking in it with, you know, like a avatar of you.
Oh, okay.
I could put an avatar of you, but I'm going to use you as far as your face. See, I can create a body, put your face into it, and it'll be you, and then I can make that face talk.
All right. So, you know, are you going to make my body look like Schwarzenegger or something like that?
I was going to put you in a suit.
Get rid of the beer belly.
I was going to put you in a suit.
I just saw some of it the other day. Very young Gary in there. That's the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I remember that. Darren?
Gary.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Gary, Chad. Chad. I mean,
Richie
he was like,
Schultz.
Yeah, it was in the 90s. And I just finished Chad's face, you know. It's a step at a time. But I'm having a great time doing it. It's almost like writing a song when you're doing.
But you did do the new video.
That's right.
All of that. And it is available on YouTube right now.
You can watch it on YouTube. It's under Sunset Beach by Robert Lee Balderrama.
And it's your new single.
Yeah, it's a new single. We're still working on it right now.
It'll come out later this year when this podcast probably comes out.
Yeah, we're gonna. I'm talking to people at Sony Records right now, and they're definitely interested in it. So hopefully we're gonna move on it. And there's a couple corrections they want done, you know. So we're gonna take care of that. and then once we get the corrections done and have it mastered, we're gonna move on to releasing it again, and I'm hoping to get across the nation like on Smooth Jazz.
Well, our last podcast we did with you, you hit #1 for the second time in your life.
Yep.
With your last song, what was that one again?
Any Moment.
And that was with Le Sonic, right?
Yep.
And you're saying now you're going to go Robert Balderrama.
Robert Lee Balderrama is
Balderrama.
gonna, yep. Because Lasonic has been a great stepping stone for me.
Yeah.
And when Gary Lekowicz, great person, just an awesome person, and very humble. And that's why me and him get along.
Is your Sony connection?
Yeah. And he has his own company called record company. I forgot the name of it. Generic Records is called, and they're associated with Sony Red. Okay. You heard of Sony Red? They do a lot of movie stuff and they're all incorporated. But Gary's got his own label too, and he's also a radio promoter. And he told me that "Happy and Go Lucky" was his first song he promoted on Smooth Jazz. He did a lot. He's done a lot. I could go on all these famous people that he's But, he never did Smooth Jazz until in the 90s when I came out with Happy and Go Lucky, and he got involved in it. And me and him worked really good together. And we had a great connection, And so when he got a hold of me, it was 2.5 years ago. He said, "Can you help me write a song?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, I'm a singer." I said, "Yeah, I was reading about where you sang too." And he goes, I got these 4 notes, and I would like for you to write a song to it if you could. I said, "Definitely." So that's how I wrote "Any Moment." And if you listen to the music in the background, Frank has this keyboard where it's called Jazz Dude on it. And it sounds like a vocal. You hit the chord, do 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 do. You hit the keys, and so when he sent me the 4 notes. So do 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 do, and so Frank put that. I came up with the chords, and Frank put that in there, and we put it all together, and then I played all along through it, and then I sent it to Gary, and he really liked it. He goes, "I'm going to start working with it. I'll get back with it." A month later, I forgot about it. I really didn't think much of that song, to be honest with you, the way I sent it to him. And then a month, 2 months later, he got it home. He goes, "We got it done, and I'm going to send you a copy." And he did, and I heard it. I was like, wow, my jaw dropped. It didn't even sound like the song that I sent him. What he did, put a trumpet player in it. And the trumpet player is the guy that plays on CBS Morning News. I think they changed the theme on it now, but I would say a couple years ago. If you're listening to that, and there's another, it's a Sunday show where they come on, and you hear this trumpet go, just really goes way up. And that's him playing. I can't remember, Jim Hines, I think is his name. Okay. And he played on it, and when I heard him, I knew the song was #1. My guitar playing was all right, but I was involved in writing the song. And to me, it's not always about me, It's about making it happen. Yeah. It won 96 Tears with, people say, "Well, didn't it bother you that Frankie was always the guy that, people, I said, why? Why would it bother me? We worked together. He's a better musician than me. So, there's no problem,
Well, the rhythm guitar is an important part of the song.
I never let the ego take over.
Is there any plans to maybe do another collaboration between you and Lasonic? Is that a possibility?
He called me up about a year ago, and he had asked me. He goes, "Would you be interested in doing another song with Lasonic?" I go, "Yeah, definitely, Gary. I love those guys. They're awesome. Just great people." And they're professional. Yeah. When you work with professional people and them to be humble like Gary is, it's hard. It's hard because when I played with Joe King, I met a lot of people in the music business that I probably would never play in a band with. Because to me, I gotta have fun. To me, music is about pleasure, and to play with somebody that's hardcore, and demands. like a James Brown, how he was with his band. To me, that's not the way to be. I think you got to be compassionate, because when you put compassion into your music and you show compassion to your players, everybody feels the love. And when you play with love, it only comes out better, And that's how 96 Tears happened. The love that we had, we all grew up, and some people in the band, maybe their ego got big, but we all still love each other, I love Question Mark. I never, had any hate for him at all, even though me and him were rivals, kind of like Keith Richards and Mick Jagger, or the guys were, what were the two brothers?
Ray and Dave Davis.
They don't get along with their brothers,
Right, exactly.
I don't feel that way. I feel that, I tell Frank, I say his mom was here last year, and she says, I was getting to the point with the Mysterians was kind of hard to deal with, because Frankie, he has a temper in him. He's a real nice person. But you set him off in the wrong direction, and he can jump all over you, and it just started getting worse and worse when we're playing out, and I just don't like to be like that. That's not me. I like to be happy when I'm playing. I don't like to be, oh shit, this guy's he's pissed off at me. I didn't mean to swear, but so I don't like to be in that, and Question Mark got into that kind of a predicament when a certain time, it was not so much because I never took anything from him, Me and him were rivals big time. And so he knew that I wasn't going to take it. And I was the guy that created the music, me and Frankie, and he was the guy that created the melody and the words. So we had to work together, So we always showed respect for each other. Question Mark always respected me. I respected him, even though we were rivals. I could never say nothing bad about Question Mark, except maybe it's ego, But some people can't handle success in the same way. Everybody has their own way, and now I see Question Mark. He's kind of mellowed out a little bit, and I'm glad, because to me that's the way to be. It's just whatever you do in life, you just get along with the people you're with, because things can run better. The machine is more, and that's what I believe in, and Question Mark was like that, but, I know because it was Question Mark and the Mysterians that he felt that, he was the main guy, but now I know the way he comes about it now, he's a good person. He really is. And I'm glad, that we can get along and move forward.
Yeah.
That's my ambition.
Yeah. With any luck, we'll even have new music.
That's right. Yeah.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
A new album where it hasn't even been recorded yet. Wouldn't it be awesome? That's my dream.
Can you play us some songs, Bobby?
Yeah.
About your guitar?
I don't play much acoustic guitar. I gave all mine to my son, because I find acoustic guitars are really hard to play. And it to me, it's a turn off. So I love playing like this.
Cool.
A little bit of Misty.
Yeah.
But, I love writing, Scott, and thank you for me and you working together. I look forward to that.
Yeah.
I know we're going to come up with some great stuff.
Oh, man, we already are.
We already are. So that's what I love to do. But, I remember...
What you got in that F-hole?
I got... because it would feed back.
Oh.
So when I would turn it up... So I saw George Benson was talking about it, that he had put cotton in it or something, and it would cause that, because guitars like this, these are full body, even though it's a smaller size, that they can cause a low hum.
Yeah.
Look at, you turn it up instead of high, like a solid body. But It's got this great sound. The only problem I have is right there. I don't play the guitar that much anymore because of that jack.
I love my Ibanez Art Core.
Yeah.
You saw mine, my black one. Black
Yeah,
with the blue. Yeah,
that's nice.
it's something about those guitars.
I love playing the guitar.
Yeah, it's
nice.
do you create your some of your smooth jazz epics on that guitar? Is that what you sit at home and start with that?
I used to, but ever since I started having a problem because I can't plug it in no more.
Okay.
And so and then the guitar I got now.
Well, the Paul Reed, yeah.
Yeah, but Gary surprised. He goes, Bobby, go open up the.
Well, that is all Chad Cunningham and Dina.
I
You know, they love you, and well,
They're
that
awesome.
was a very nice gift, right? I'm just happy we could do it on the opening of the
I
Michigan
know.
Rock and Roll Legends Hall of Fame. It was perfect timing.
I knew nothing, you know, until you told me to open it up. And I looked at it, I go,
Well,
wait a minute.
Chad wanted to walk through the front door with it. I said, you can't walk through the front door, but he's going to see it. So I had him come around through the back, so we got it through the back door so that you wouldn't see it until it was time to present it to you.
That was awesome.
That's one of the most beautiful Paul Reed Smith guitars I've ever seen.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
it is,
is.
you know.
It is a cool guitar.
And the way Chad went about it, man, he's such a great person, you know.
He's very generous.
He is, you know, and the way he fooled me, you know, because he, you know, I was telling about these pickups, the Paul Reed Street pickups, you know, and I was gonna get them for. I had bought this really beautiful blue guitar. It looked like Strat, and I was gonna put those pickups in to get that Paul Reed Smith sound. And he goes, "Can you show me those pickups?" And so we went inside his house, and we're looking at Musician's Friend, or I can't remember which one. And he finds a Paul Reed Smith, you know, and we're looking at all those guitars, and I'm looking, I go, wow. You know, and he goes, is it like that one? And I go, yeah, that's the pickups right there. Those are the pickups. You can't buy them. I got to order them through Reverb, you know, where they'll sell them, individual might sell them, you know.
Yeah, out of their guitar, right?
Yeah. And he goes, so those are the pickups, right? He goes, is that the guitar too? Do you like the guitar? You know, I was like, where's he going with that? I go, yeah. He goes, what about the color? You like the color? I go, yeah, it's color. It looks nice, you know. I wasn't even thinking where he was going with it. I could think about, I want to get those pickups.
Oh, man.
You know, and I wanted to get that Santana sound.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden we were at the, you were doing an opening for the museum, right?
Right. We did something on Frankie
For
Lyman's
the
tombstone.
wall, yeah.
Right. And, you know, that was part of the opening of the Michigan Rock and Roll Legends Hall of Fame exhibit. Yeah, it was very cool. We had a lot of people there. And,
Well, a lot of people, because I tell you what,
Exactly.
I didn't know, because lots of times I'm playing out, right? And they come up to me. Somebody come, oh, I was there when they were giving you guitar, you know. I said, oh, thank you. I mean, I said that was such a. I was trying to hold back from crying. I mean,
yeah.
Very emotional night.
It was
yeah.
the highlight of the whole
It was.
presentation.
and I looked right
Definitely.
at Chad, you know, and I smiled and I said, thank you. you
Yeah.
know.
And, you know, the fact that you are, you know, a member of the Michigan Rock and Roll Legends
Yeah.
Hall of Fame, it was just perfect. You know,
It
everything.
was. It
Yeah,
was
cool.
just so amazing, you know. And like I said, you know, his dad was very inspiring to me, you know. And when I saw his dad play, they were playing Louie Louie.
Yeah.
You know, you know, and they were playing it, and I swear I thought it was the Kingsmen.
That, you know, that opening is just instantly, you associated with Louie Y. Just like the opening of 96 Tears.
Yeah.
It's just like bingo. The first few notes, Satisfaction, the same thing.
Exactly.
You just know immediately.
You know what
just
it is,
classic, yeah.
I remember, was it you had asked me who came up with that riff at the beginning of 96 Tears?
Yeah.
Frankie came up with it because he's the piano player. But that was so cool how I don't even know whose idea it was, to be honest with you.
It's amazing.
And it brought in the conjunto Mexican element to 96 Tears too.
Yep.
Kind of just like Willie Bully did.
Yep.
It brought that Tex-Mex thing in there, which was really neat too.
Yeah. And I never thought, the song would make it, to be honest with you.
It's wild too, and to even tag on what Gary's talking about, you were talking about how Eddie Serrato was already involved in that Tex-Mex sound. He had label guys, he had a studio.
That's where
and then he jumps right in, and all of a sudden that's the first thing you do.
And Eddie Serrato, the way he played, he didn't play like a rock drummer. He played like a Tejano polka drummer. So that's where a lot of that influence came in. And then a lot of my playing, the sound of the guitar, it had that real staccato sound, even though it was just going back and forth.
You kept with the bass, and you kept your rhythm pumping underneath it with next to the bass lines.
Yep.
While Frankie Dust to the top and Q was singing, it's a fantastic blend. And the more you listen to it, the more you understand all the different styles. I mean, it's amazing because I had no clue, because now Robert has played with you guys a lot since the 90s. He can rock. He's a rock drummer.
Oh yeah.
And it's a lot different than Eddie Serrato's style.
Right.
Well, and the other thing, back when that came out in 1966, was really all about how it sounded like on AM radio.
Right.
That's how the music got out. And 96 Tears was like a perfect AM radio single. It just sounded terrific. I remember the first time I heard it, I was working at Bay City Milling, loading trucks. It was a tough job, but it was Teamsters. I was making really good money. And boy, after work, get in the car and pump it on the radio, WSAM, WKNX, WTAC, had all the presets, And boy, I heard 96 Tears coming home, and it was just like, wow.
Right,
Yeah, it just was great.
Did they have a mono version and a stereo version of that?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
That's right during that area where they were flip-flopping. And, AM was very mono at the time.
Yeah.
I think it was still mono.
Yeah, it was probably all mono.
I can remember hearing that on the radio. And basically that's how we got our name. Because we were only the Mysterians, right? Mm-hmm. It wasn't Question Mark. Even though it was Question Mark's name, we weren't using Question Mark and Mysterians. And then I remember Question Mark calling me up, and he said that he had talked to Bob Dell, WTAC, and we're going to be playing at Mount Holly, So I would put it on WTAC that I wanted to hear him say, hey, here, and the Mysterians playing. So I heard him say, and Question Mark and the Mysterians, And I go, what?
And just they have that on WTAC too. With WTAC,
really?
Where he was the DJ, that signal went to Detroit.
Yeah.
Which was really important to you guys.
It was.
To moving things out of the Tri-Cities, which it was gigantic here. Yeah. But, you had to get to Detroit, and then it gets to, Cameo.
It was.
I think at least after it became big in Detroit, right? Wasn't that when the lease to Cameo happened?
That's when all these record companies. What it was, we had taken the record. Question Mark had taken the record, given the record to somebody, and they took it to CKLW, and CKLW was in Canada,
right?
Windsor, in Windsor, and so they said, they weren't going to play it, and so and you're right. What happened was Bob Dell was playing it. And so we came to Bob Dell, and then he started calling us Question Mark Mysterians. So we went with it. I thought it was cool. And so every time we would play at Mount Holly, Question Mark Mysterians, and people thought it was two bands sometimes, Yeah, and it was really, Question Mark is the singer. So, we went to Bob Dell when the record came out, and we asked Bob Dell that, if we can get paid more, because he was only paying us $50 a night to play there. and what back then there was always DJs, mobile DJs, you know, and the DJs would play for a while, then the live entertainment, and it's still the same. And so we went to Bob Dylan and asked him, you know, can you? We went right up to where he the booth. We had a meeting. Right? Hey Bob, you know, our song is getting popular, you know, and you know, and I knew he was paying some other bands more money, you know, because I had talked to him. I think Scott Morgan, one of the band he played with, they were really popular. They were a lot more.
Was that the Rations?
The Rations.
Yeah, they had a big hit with Respect.
Respect, and they were really popular down more south than we were. So Bob Dylan, he says, I'll tell you what I'll do. I won't give you more money, but I'll play your record a lot. And we said, all right. It worked. and so the people down in Detroit started hearing it. Because, like you said, it got down to the north part of Detroit. So people started requesting it at CKLW. Before we knew it, we got word that they wanted the record. We go, well, we gave it to them. What happened? But so they got a copy of it, and it took right off. And I can remember...
is that the place you originally took the copies to and threw it in the trash?
You know, I didn't see it, but we did know. I think it was... you know, I really don't want to say who it was.
Yeah.
It was somebody local.
Oh, that's that story. Okay. But when you said that... They didn't have the single yet, but we knew what happened to it. I assumed that was
I assumed because
okay.
It happened here at first too.
Okay.
You know,
you and Question Mark both told me the same story.
We on the same one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it happened here in Saginaw, in one of the radio stations.
You guys will never. This isn't it. Yeah.
I don't like to talk bad about you know negative stuff, but you know, and I understand that we were nobody, we were unprofessional and all that stuff. We were. So, you know, that's how we were looked at.
Yeah, and it was, you know, Pagogo was a label probably nobody had ever seen before.
Yeah,
you know, San Antonio, you know.
And I felt, I hate to say this, you know, we were all Mexican, right?
Yeah.
And that played a role.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to bring up Daniel's Den.
Yeah. Because
here you guys, you know, a number of you, you know, had big time Saginaw roots, and you had Deb and Joe, you know, writing about you guys in the Saginaw News, a big full page thing when 96 Tears finally reached #1, and you didn't get to play Daniel's Den, which was the #1 teen club in Saginaw. So
but you know what happened though, yeah?
Yeah, I want to let you tell the story.
Yeah, what happened was, so we tried to get in there all the time we were playing, and Mr. Frank wouldn't hire us, right? I'm not going to say his last name. And so when the record went #1, I remember we got signed up with Premier Talent, which was a big booking agency. They were booking the Who. They were booking Herman's Herm. They were booking all these English bands. And they were booking big bands in Michigan, in the United States. And we were at our rep, the guy that we had contact with when we would go there. And he had a meeting with us, you know, and he said, listen, I got you guys booked all across, you know, you guys going to be going out to the West Coast. And he goes, oh, by the way, he goes, there's a guy from Saginaw, his name is Frank. I won't say his last name. And he wants to hire you at the Daniel's Den. And I said, you got to be kidding me. And he goes, no, he wants to hire you. I said, we tried so hard to get in there, he would never hire us. I knew why, you know. And I told him, I said, I won't play there. I said, Question Mark, you want to play there? You go ahead. I won't be there. And he goes, you don't want to play there? I go, no. And he goes, well, I wasn't going to have you guys play there. He only offered you $250.
He's going to shortchange you anyway.
Yeah. And so I said,
this is
good.
interesting. I never heard this story about the Daniel's Den.
Yeah, and so I told him, I said, no, I will never play there again. I would never play there. But, you know, I felt bad about that because I believe in forgiven. I believe in letting it go. Because when you hang on to stuff like that, it's only affecting you. The person that's hanging on to it. So that's why I say, all the people that ripped us off, they can have it because I'm not gonna let it bother me. It ain't gonna drag me down. What they did. The way I see it, eventually we all have to answer to everything we do.
Yeah.
So what was?
Well, he had a problem though in Bay City also.
Oh yeah.
And I'll say the name was Frank Patrick. He was running dances at the Big Wheel,
really?
which of course Chad owns the building now, and his dad. And he didn't want to allow black teenagers
So was
in
anything?
his dances. It caused a big stink, and that stopped dances from happening from that point on at the Big Wheel. Of course, this is when it was an indoor skating rink.
Is there any?
But
of
it
this in
had,
Bo White's book?
they had some big names. Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons. And I'll embarrass my wife, Lynn, who went to see the Four Seasons and got a kiss from Frankie Valli.
Oh,
Yeah.
my brother was there too. My brother Jerry was there. He went to go see him.
I took my mom to meet him when he played the pig gig here in Bay City.
Yeah.
She-
And we saw him also at, it must have been Midland Center for the Arts, wasn't it, Lynn? And I kept bugging her to go up and talk to Frankie and tell him about that kiss that she never forgot. But she's too shy. She wouldn't do it.
It was on the cheek.
It was very innocent. Frankie's wife was with him. So.
Frank, he was a really nice. We did a show with him in New York. I mean, in Chicago, the Four Seasons.
Yeah.
And Frank was, just a really nice person. I heard that he wasn't.
He is still performing too.
He's in his 90s.
Oh man, yeah.
I didn't know he was
obviously he's got some singers with him to kind of back him up on all those high notes and everything. But yeah, incredible that he's still out there performing.
And I saw him on one of the detective shows he was on.
Oh, well, Sopranos. He had a role
in
The Sopranos for a while too.
And I seen him, and I think he still looks pretty good. For
He
his age,
does, yeah.
And a very good actor.
Yeah, and his first recording was back in the early 50s.
Wow.
That was, almost 10 years before the Four Seasons really broke out with Sherry and Big Girls Don't Cry. There was all those string of number one hits in the 60s and 70s. Yeah, wow.
They were a good harmony band.
Man, yeah, they were
like
great.
the Beach Boys. Beach Boys, man, I didn't like the way they played their instruments, but they could sing. I tell you what, they could keep their instruments really low. And you concentrated on the vocals, man, because those guys had harmony.
Well, they had the sibling harmonies, the three brothers.
Yeah.
And then, their cousin Mike Love.
Right.
Those guys used to sing, together all the time. They had it down.
Beautiful harmony.
Fantastic.
I used to love to listen to them sing. I wish I could have met them, because I was hoping, because they used our equipment and everything. But what they did is we toured with them all around Florida. And it was a cool place to play because the Beach Boys, right, in Florida.
Oh, sure.
And so we played all these big venues. Who else was there? It was the other band? I can't think. I had too much to dream last night.
Oh, Electric Prunes.
Electric Prunes, yeah, they were really good. And we toured with them, and we were on just kind of a tour.
Well, it was always package tours back then.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Right, where you had a number of different
and
bands
and
and artists
were the headliners.
performing. Yeah.
And we toured, and we played down at that Coliseum where Jackie Lee Gleason did his show.
Oh, okay.
We played there, and I was just hoping to meet them, and I wanted to meet Brian, because I looked up to him. He was such a great writer, and when Eric, the first gig we did with him, I was on the side of the stage and waiting for them, to come out, and I kept thinking, where are they? Because we had a dressing room, and I'd never seen no other dressing room where they were in. And so they come running out, right? And they got on the instruments, and they did their show, and they run back, they took off running. And so I followed them. I wanted to see where they were going. I was going to talk to them. And so they took off running. They went out the back door, and I followed them out the back door. There's a limousine out there waiting for them, and they jumped in the limo and took off.
Oh man!
They didn't even communicate with the audience, and then they just.
Oh wow!
Yeah, to me, I don't know. I don't remember if I did or not, but I always loved to go out and watch the band's out on the front, you know.
Yeah.
Because then, you know, I did watch them on the side, then I'd walk out in front, you know. And it was just so much fun. When we played at the Lincoln Center in New York, and Mitch Ryder was there, right? I wanted to watch him because, man, I know I think he's older than Question Mark.
He might be.
Yeah, Mitch is also a guy that recorded a single before the Detroit Wheels. It was in the 1950s. He was recording as Billy Lee at that time. And, you know, he's got a new album out right now.
Came out a week ago Friday.
Produced by Don Was.
It's pretty good, actually. Yeah.
It is. The production is really good.
Musically, it's fantastic.
Mitch's voice.
He's always had great guitar players.
Yeah, Mitch's voice, you know, the years has taken a toll. Yeah. It's still fun to listen to him, but you know.
He's still telling good stories, too.
I watched him, you know, and he didn't move around much, you know. He just stood there. He had, you know, just stood there, you know, and sang. But man, he was sounding great. And then there was this guy, Dennis Coffey.
Oh yeah,
you know,
Dennis is in the Michigan Rock and Roll Legends Hall of Fame twice. First as a member of the Funk Brothers, he played that wah-wah guitar and all the psychedelic soul records of the Temptations, and then he had the Detroit guitar band Scorpio, which was a gigantic.
I know nothing about it. My brother recorded a live version. I listened to it, and Bill was. But when we played at the Lincoln Center, I got a chance to hear him play his band, and I kept thinking this guy is into jazz, you know, kind of like a funky jazz stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and I didn't realize that show was all Detroit, Michigan entertainers. It was Mitch Ryder, us. Dennis Coffey, and who else? There was somebody else I can't remember. But we were playing, and Question Mark was doing 96 Tears, and I see this lady come from the side of the stage, right? And I keep looking at her, and she's got this big old hair like this, you know, and she really beautiful looking, and I'm looking at her, I know that face, you know, and all of a sudden it hit me. Phil Spector's wife,
Ronnie Spector. That's that performance is on YouTube.
Yeah. And she comes up and they gave her a mic. Somebody gave her a mic, a wireless, and she's walking towards Question Mark, but he don't see her, and he's out there dancing, you know, and moving around, and she's walking towards him, and I see it all, and I'm waiting, and I'm like, come on, Question Mark, turn sideways so you can see her. And finally he does, you know, and they both started singing to each other, you know, and everything. It was really cool. And
it's so good.
It almost felt like Eddie Money and
and her
Take Me Home Tonight.
Yeah. We saw Eddie Money at the at Pine Knob, and Ronnie Spector came right down the main aisle toward the stage when her part came up. And Take Me Home Tonight. It was so awesome.
I was thinking about that, you know, and she did that, and then her and Question Mark started singing 96 Tears, and she going back and forth, and it was so.
She
cool.
even laid down with him.
Huh?
She sat down, didn't lay down with him totally.
Yeah, they did that too. Yeah. And that part I didn't care for.
That's part of his. He goes, I even did my part where I lay down.
Yeah,
she wouldn't lay down though.
Me and Frank Lucas don't like it. And anyway, so. You know, then the show's over, so me and my wife, we're off to the side, you know, and she comes up to me, you know, and she goes, hey, can you give me one of them scarves? You know, that scarf got the Question Mark hat, you know, got the Question Mark. And I told her, I said, I don't know if I can or not. I'm not involved. And she goes, well, you know who I am, don't you? I go, yeah, you're Ronnie. I said, thank you for coming up. I don't know, she thought maybe I'd be excited, you know, but I was excited, but I just didn't, you know, I was trying to explain to her, I don't get involved in Laverne sales of shirts and all that stuff. And she goes, what do you think? I said, well, you know, see that guy standing over? He goes, ask him. Yeah. And she goes, well, you know who I am, you know? I mean, she was like, you know, she really wanted me to bow to her, you know, kind of. I said, he's over there.
I bought a copy of her autobiography in New York, and it was in a used bookstore. And I opened it up, and it's autographed with her lip imprint
Oh,
next to
man,
her.
how cool.
Yeah, next to her autograph.
Yeah, she was still
red
beautiful.
lipstick. I was whoa now.
Yeah. I mean,
Who would get rid of that book?
really?
Exactly.
I mean,
that's a
my
mess
God,
up. Yeah.
No, she was a nice lady, you know. She was just hoping to get that scarf. Like, and I don't like when it comes to that. I told you about it.
Yeah.
I don't get involved with them selling stuff.
Yeah. So play us a little bit more, maybe something on that. What's that new song? The new AI video?
I can't play that because it's just too chord. It's all this. And then it goes to. I gotta sit up right. I'm sitting wrong.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. We probably got some other chairs over there.
Yeah.
I don't.
So low.
Would it be easier if we had that chair that's next to Mike?
Well, this chair.
But I think that song we were talking about. I wrote this song called "Country Living," and I think it'd be a great song for Question Mark to try. You know, it's a great song. I always look for it, maybe a country singer, but me and Scott were talking about it the other day, and Question Mark showed some interest. And now I know there's a lot of rappers that are doing country, and there's a lot of different.
Oh yeah.
And I think it'd be a great idea. And I wrote this song called "Country Living," and it goes. It's real simple.
Oh, that's nice. Nice.
Country living is maybe in me. Country living is where I want to be. Then it goes in. I've been working in a factory. My wife got a job in a secretary. We've been thinking about moving out there, buy a little house we can share. I've been thinking. I don't remember all the
Well,
words.
that's awesome. You know, and there's. I mean, I remember Johnny Rodriguez, wasn't it? Was a pretty big country singer for a while. Back in the 70s or 80s. So it's not unheard of that, you know, you've got people
I
of
think
Mexican
nowadays
descent
you don't have
doing.
to stick to
No.
a certain genre anymore, you know?
Not at all.
And that's where I'm doing my smooth jazz. I want to do some funky stuff, you know? I talked to Larry McCrae, and I want to write a kind of a smooth blues, you know, style. And I asked him if he would play it, and he said he would. So
awesome.
I look forward to that. I want to have, on my album, I want to have friends playing on it, you know? And to me, when you got friends playing with you, it comes out so much better, you know, because it's the friendship.
Yeah, and it even sounds good, you know,
does.
like Robert Lee Balderrama and Friends.
Yeah,
you know, and
that's gonna be my
it's cool.
album. I'm gonna record an album, and I want a lot. Like I asked Joey Ortega to play on it, and he said he would.
Oh yeah,
That's cool.
And I love his guitar playing. Great drummer, you know, and I love he plays like Keith Richards style, you know. He can play that. So you know, and I know he's done instrumental albums, records too. So I want to have my friends play on my smooth jazz album.
Well, you also have the Mysterians record that we're kind of hiding in behind this cute question mark material.
We're starting to put some music together for another album with question mark and
a secondary one with Bobby and his band and the Mysterians and maybe the question mark as well and all them.
I look forward. You know, to me, it's always been my forte and dream to keep recording. You know, to play live is always going to be hard as you get older. It's moving equipment is the hardest thing, you know. And me, like Chad had asked me, he goes, well, you know, do you want to travel, you know, because you got a #1 song, you know? And I go, not really.
It's tough. I think every traveling musician would
it
agree
affects
with
your
that.
relationship with your family.
Difficult.
You know, financially, you not eat. You know, financially you could do good, but with the problem I see when you go on tour, you're not. Your health takes a hit. You don't eat good. You don't sleep good. Always on the run, and so when you're young, it's great. But when I'm 75 years old, 5 more years I'll be 80. I'll be question mark's age. You know, 5 more years, and I hope that I'm as good as condition as he's in right now. You know, I mean, when we played in Detroit, I seen a better Question Mark than when we played at St. Joe's.
And Saginaw, yeah.
So I see him getting better, and I know that when we go through life, sometimes we have a health spell that takes us down. But what I learned is when I had cancer, is that I learned when you got cancer, you know, your thought is it could come back, you know. But really, if you eat all the right nutrients and everything, your body is actually stronger because now you fought it, right? So now it learns, you know, it's like a memory muscle or whatever we call it. So all you got to do is maintain the right nutrients to keep your body healthy, and the cancer chances are will never come back.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
You've been through that.
Yeah.
I've been through it. I had prostate cancer. I had bladder cancer, and when I had prostate cancer, I did the radiation, and the radiation was hit my bladder. So, you know, when I went to urologist, he said he sees that a lot, but he said it's always a low grade type cancer. So he got rid of it in 2 months. You know, they have this new immunology type, that they use, and so he got rid of that, and my prostate, the numbers keep dropping. You know, I mean, it's getting better all the time. You know?
Oh, that's great news.
You know, and what I do is I practice good nutrients, you know, and you take vitamins, you take organic vitamins, you know, eat the right foods. I believe, like both my parents lived to be 89. My dad, at 85, he had a stroke, and he never recovered from it. He just went downhill. So at 85, you know, I told the Lord, hey, if you were ready to take me home, I'm ready to come home. You know, I'd leave it up to the Lord, though. You know, and I'm always thankful. I'm always thankful for everything that I've been given. The Lord has given to me. You know, people say, well, you can manifest things. I've been manifesting things all my life, except massive amounts of fortune. But I bought a home for my parents, right? I wanted to play with Joe King Karaska. I traveled the world with him, South America, Europe. You know, so
you had 2 runs with Q and
Question Mark The Mysterians. And I wanted to have a #1 hit. Yep. I got tired of people saying, "Oh, you play with Question Mark, right?" Yeah, 96 here. Yeah, that's a great song. Was that your only one hit? Yeah. Oh, you guys are one-hit wonder, you know. And then I remember Question Mark called me up one time. And he said, "Hey, we're gonna be on TV tonight." I said, "What show?" "One-Hit Wonder."
Yeah.
And I go, "Oh, do I want to watch it?" You know, I hated that.
And you're now 2-hit man, 2 different genres, 3.
Well, I played on the song that went #1.
Yeah.
But I didn't write it.
Yeah, but I mean, even back in your heyday of Question Mark The Mysterians, I Need Somebody reached number 22.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a pretty good sized
There you
hit
go.
in itself. And I Can't Get Enough of You, Baby. It didn't get in the top 40, but it was a sizable hit.
They were all hits, but we didn't reach #1.
Yeah, and you, like I said, there were some great songs like Do Something to Me. Oh, my God. Make You Mine. Cherry July. You guys really had some great songs that didn't get the chart success that they should have.
I remember writing that song. I was going.
Yeah, it's got a great beginning to it.
I started putting that together, and Question Mark started singing to it, and I started adding chords. And that song, he sang it awesome.
Yeah, and that just had that immediately catchy element to it that should have been a hit. I know it's just hard to believe that it wasn't.
And it's only because of the label.
You got to get the record out there. There has to be some promotion. Somebody's got to get out there and go to the radio stations and knock on doors. And that was still that way. In the 60s, the single was still very important.
Yeah, I remember getting back to the One-Hit Wonder show was when Question Mark told me William Shatner was the host. That's what excited me because when we were kids, we would be on tour, right? And Star Trek was on.
Captain
Kirk.
And it
came on right at the time we had to leave to go play at 6:30, 7 o'clock. And I would tell him, oh, what? One more minute.
Yeah.
And so I loved that show, and I was so into it. And so when Question Mark said, yeah, William Shatner, I said, well, I got to watch it.
Yeah.
So I'm watching it, and sure, he gets to our number, and he talks about it and everything, and I go, wow, that's awesome. William Shatner, my favorite actor, talking about us.
That's so
I mean,
cool.
it was such a silly thing. And so he moved on to the next artist, and it blew me away. Jimi Hendrix, All Along the Watchtower.
Yeah.
That was the only hit that he had, number one hit.
Yeah. Well, right. But Purple Haze.
Purple Haze.
Wasn't a big hit. It was still, but that was my introduction
Purple
to
Haze
Hendrix.
it was a
Hearing
hit,
that
but
on, it wasn't a number one.
It didn't go to number one
right.
All Along the Watchtower.
Yeah.
That was the only song that he did, and I think we were number 16 or 17, or 18. He was number 17 or something. He was right next. So I felt privileged.
That's cool.
Be right next to Jimi Hendrix.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming to do the podcast for a
Thank
second
you,
time, Bobby. Thank you for all
it
you're
was
doing.
awesome, Bobby.
I know the museum things. You've donated a lot of time playing for the museum. You're promoting Gary's museum here as well as our podcast.
Yeah.
And now you and I are going out playing shows under the name of B, Balderrama and Baker, and doing some duo gigs. We're working on music together for
I'm
the
anxious
documentary.
to hear you guys. Just watching you when you went out and played at the dry dock to help the museum. You guys sounded so great together. So
I had a great time.
okay,
I'm looking
bookers,
forward-
bars, music venues out there, man, you'll be lucky to get these two guys playing.
It's a treat,
I just
man.
want to thank you, Scott,
Yeah, man.
Gary, Mike, Lynn. Thank you for having me. And I look forward. I will always promote the museum because to me, people got to know about it, and they really do. So, I'm just starting to make commercials. And so I just made a commercial for Vinny. And it is a small one. It's my first attempt, but I'm learning and maybe sometime down the road to make a commercial for the museum.
Definitely. We'll put it on Facebook and on our site for sure. So
it'd be
by all
it'd be
means.
my donation.
I'd love it.
It'd be donated. I want this to be successful, and I thank all of you for making it happen.
Well,
especially you, Gary. You put all your time in all these years, and I can remember when I first did Talk Music USA, and you were my first person I interviewed, and I use that all the time when I promote, because it's such a great thing for the music to be promoted.
Well, and right back at you, anything that I and the museum can do, especially with all this stuff coming out, we hope, we'll try and promote it as best we can too.
Yeah, and any way I can help in the future, like I did for the museum, I will always be there.
All right, sounds great.
It's a pleasure. It's not taking time out of my life. To me, it's something that I want to do,
All right.
and so, just like you.
Yeah, well, we appreciate your generosity. And again, thank you so much for coming on the podcast again.
Thank you for the music, Bobby.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you,
fantastic.
all the listeners out there. Thank you, and God bless.
All right.
Yeah.
Woo!
On behalf of our hosts, we would like to thank the Michigan Rock Legends Hall of Fame, our guests, and especially our listeners. The MMHP is found on the 989 network, as well as all familiar podcast hubs. Up-to-the-minute information, as well as Dr. J and Sir Fred's Michigan Music Songs of the Week, can be found on the MMHP's Facebook page, /MMHP989. You can connect with Scott at scottbakermusic.com, Dr. J at michiganrockandrolllegends.com, Sir Fred at fredrife.com, and Mr. Mike on YouTube as MRBTEE1.
And on behalf of Dr. J, Sir Fred, Mr. Mike, and myself, Scott Baker, we would like to thank Eddie Switek for being the voice of the MMHP in the 989.
That was the famous Lennon interview in Rolling Stone that was done with Jan Wenner.
Oh, so it might have been a magazine thing, not a radio thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not sure about that. I do have the Rolling Stone, I've got these bound copies of Rolling Stone that my buddy Larry Van Cleve gave me. That's where we had the the actual articles about the fake zombies.
Right.
I know that Lennon interview has got to be in one of them. And so even if you didn't have the audio,
I would have
you
the
might
print.
be able to copy.
Yeah.
The quote. Just remind me about looking that up.
Because right now we've got Bowie on the radio, his radio show doing it.
Yeah, I heard someone said that he had a radio show in England.
I showed you that little clip of him when he says you were 96 Tears on one of his playlists in '79 for a radio thing he got invited to do.
But he mainly talked about Question Mark, didn't he, or something like that?
Oh, well, that was Dylan.
Okay.
The other one was mainly about the song.
It's all okay.
You want to put this, Gary, on you? So you got that in front of you.
I'm sorry.
And then,
Okay.
but we're getting all the audio clips I can find. That's one thing we're digging for. And then we got Alex Chilton from Big Star singing 96 Tears by himself.
Wow.
We come across that on Instagram.
That guy was a nice dude too.
And you knew Alex Chilton?
Yeah,
man.
he would. I know he was from, where was it? Louisiana or something like that.
Yeah, he stayed down there a lot.
But he was hanging out in New York City a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Every time he would play in New York, he would show up, and he was just the nicest person. I remember when I first met him, I was wondering who he was, and I kept looking at him, and I said he looks familiar, but it's been so long. This was
We
in
should
the 90s.
save this.
I'm recording, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
We
And
can use it.
and so I asked him, he came up to me and he goes, you won the Mysterians? I go, yeah. He goes, I'm Alex Chilton. And my jaw about dropped. Because I knew who he was. I knew that.
Did you know him from Give Me a Ticket for an Aeroplane when he was a kid? Or did you know him from the Big Sugar albums? Or Big Star albums?
Star.
Right?
Well, I don't know. He,
Just the name?
I met him in New York when he came. We were playing at what was that? High school.
So it was
Coney
in the,
Island.
Was it the
Coney
90s?
Island.
Yeah, and they had a dressing room in the basement, big old basement dressing room. And a whole bunch of people be down there hanging out and stuff. And then when I went down there, I heard him talk, and I looked at him, and I kept thinking, I know that face, but I couldn't figure where it was. And we were older,
It's the 90s, right?
Yeah, and he came up to me and he had asked me if I was one of the Mysterians, and
He worshipped you guys.
he was just an awesome dude, and I kept telling him, I said, you got a real quiet voice, on the song "Give Me a Ticket." It sounded like
the letter.
Yeah, like and he started laughing. He goes, "Well, that wasn't really my real voice." I said, "Really?" I said, "So, who was you copying? If that wasn't your real voice." He goes, "There was a guy. Where did he record it? It was in Biloxi or where?
Probably down Muscle Shoals.
Muscle Shoals, yeah.
That's where he's the art and stuff.
Yep." And he was down there, and he said there was a guy real popular in that area, and he had that rough voice. So when he was in the studio,
You wanted to emulate him?
his producer said, "Why don't you sing it like the I don't know the name?" So he did. And he added that kind of like that voice to it.
And he was 14 or 16 or something when he did that.
I
Like you guys, he was young when he started. That was how old he was during that. And then when he hit 18, 19, that's when he was putting together all the stuff between Big Star and eventually put that together, which was like the biggest. Like now it's huge, but it's underground because no one bought it back then.
Right.
Yeah.
But,
And he was just a real nice guy. Just very humble. And a lot of people you meet in the music business, and they can be either way, be humble or not be, they kind of like Sonny and Cher. Sonny was just a nice person, I can see why he became a politician because he was a people person. He was a really good person. And some people we met, like the Beach Boys, they kept to themselves. They weren't very sociable, and they used our equipment. When we were touring with them, they used all their equipment, except the guitars, they used the amps and the drums. Mm-hmm. And I was hoping to meet him. I wanted to meet Brian Wilson. I kind of looked up to him because he was a writer and he wrote most of the songs. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of, had a, just a direction where he was going, that where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were probably managed by Murray Wilson at that point. And Murray was kind of a taskmaster, so he probably discouraged them maybe socializing with the other bands.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there are so many artists that covered 96 Tears. It's kind of amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Are you using a lot of those?
We're looking at who's doing what, but that's a whole other task. There's so many people.
I love that live version that Doug Somm and the Texas Tornadoes did.
Oh yeah,
That is such a good version.
Now, who sang that? Was that it Doug?
Doug sang it, but Flaco Jimenez was on the accordion.
Was Freddie Fender with them?
Freddie Fender plays on that. That's really cool.
It is. I was really. I knew the original drummer Johnny Perez for Sir Douglas Quintet. Joe King Carrasco. They were like best friends, and Johnny moved out to L.A. and every time we'd play there, we would hang out with him. This is a real nice guy. But it was a great. Robert had this cassette. He let me hear it one time. I don't know how many people did in 96 Tears. There was the lady that played the piano acoustically.
Well, then there's the famous version that Aretha did.
Aretha, that was awesome.
Really a great version. You remember, what was the band that did Talk Talk?
Music Machine.
Music Machine. They did a version of it.
In their album.
Yeah. Then, of course, Iggy did a live version of it.
Is that Laura Nero you're talking about, Bobby?
Who's that?
The solo piano, Laura Nero?
No, she was like a black lady that played piano. Mom's Mabley?
Mom's Mabley, yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Actually, I heard that the other night. Daniel sent that to me.
Yeah. And Robert had all these. I mean, I would say there are at least 50 people that did it,
Okay.
And he had a copy of each one, and I was like, wow, I never knew so many people recorded.
Yeah, I had put together one that had probably 15 versions that you could find on I still subscribe to Apple Music, and this is before I where I would download CDs and you could download songs. So I had quite a collection of different versions of 96 Tears that I found on there. So there's a lot of them. Just a great song.
It is, and I get money from Sound Exchange, and 96 Tears is always the big one, big payoff. Even though Any Moment did real good for a while, when it went number one, because Sound Exchange. I was talking to Larry, Larry McCrae. We were talking about, I was concerned if he was on Sound Exchange. He goes, oh yeah, I get with statements from Spotify. I didn't know Spotify and Pandora were part of Sound Exchange,
Oh, okay.
But I never really paid attention. But every time they send money, I get a detailed everywhere played all over the world, and it's amazing. Sirius Satellite is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
They played 96 Tears a lot.
Underground Garage has Question Mark The Mysterians on a lot.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about this documentary that we're doing. That Daniel's doing. And you, Scott, it's amazing because all my life, as I went through, all my, playing music and playing with different people, traveling, I kept thinking, one of these days, somebody's going to come around and take a look at us and bring everything to the surface about the band, good, bad, whatever, and to me, and I thank you and Daniel for the time you put into it. And I believe anybody that gets involved, they shouldn't do it for free. It's all, we have to come together as a financial, and work it out, because that's what I thought was going to happen when 96 Tears went number one, that we were going to all be treated fairly, but we weren't, and I don't want to say names, because it's the past, and I forgive them. Yeah. And I don't hold anything against them. I always felt that, if they wanted, and if they wanted it that bad, then they could have it, because to me, playing music was more important, and my I never wanted to get caught up in legal problems where you're stuck, in limbo.